Eastern suburbs, red, white, and blue, we're flying high. Sydney Roosters reach the sky. Eastern suburbs. Southern skies ignite. From the east our spirits rise. Red, white, blue, our story told. From nothing we rose, made our claim. Eastern pride, we built our name. Stronger now, we never fall. Rooster spirit standing tall. Yeah, come on, feel that pride, let's go. Since the start the legacy lives. Passion, power, the heartbeat gives. Eastern suburbs, Eastern suburbs, red, white, and blue, we're flying high. Sydney Roosters reach the sky. Eastern suburbs, Roosters, get up, feel that pride. Grand on fire, glory set. Fighting with fire, no regrets. Yeah, every tackle, every try, hit hard.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Sydney Roosters Diehards. Haynesy here. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sydney Roosters Diehards. Haynesy here, and we are back for a special news roundup following our 12 points to 6 win over the Bulldogs. 12 points to 6 win over the Panthers last night at CommBank Stadium. It was a win that obviously saw the Roosters leapfrog to the top of the NRL ladder with 3 games to go. It was a fantastic victory. We're going to be obviously going through the latest news following last night's win, obviously with DCE announcement that was made official today, and a few other bits and pieces. So thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and give us a follow on the Instagram, Facebook, and on Spotify for latest Roosters updates, news, and opinions. So I just want to thank you guys for your support last night in the watch along and for the match reaction. Really appreciate it. And obviously thank you to Lummy and Leaguey for coming on, having their say after last night's win. We will obviously have some questions that have been answered via Instagram, so stay tuned for that one. So thank you for tuning in and welcome. We've also got the Dogs and South game in the background, so we'll watch a little bit of that over the next half an hour or so. But yeah, as always, your support is muchly appreciated. Let's get to the live chat. G'day, Jason. How are you, brother? Like the stream. Yes, guys, hit that like button, subscribe. You guys know the drill. G'day, Jake. How are you, bro? The Roosters, indeed, Jason, 100%. And Ethan Lawrence, how are you, bro? I posted a photo of the new tattoo if you didn't see it. I have to check it out after, bro. But, yeah, you can't see it. But, right, obviously, hate watch right now. I mean, it'd be nice to see South Sydney lose. That'll top off the weekend, right? But yes, obviously, how are we feeling after last night's win? Of course, the Roosters sitting top of the ladder with. It's always nice, you play the first game of the weekend, and I've said it. I think I said it after the Cowboys game. Sometimes the Thursday night game can, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Now, obviously, I would have loved to have been there last night because the crowd and the atmosphere was electric. I've seen all the clips and all that kind of stuff, and it looked terrific. So. Kudos to every Roosters fan that was there last night and bringing that atmosphere there at CommBank, which kind of expected, but of course, because I've said it, a few times, that CommBank is my favourite away ground to go to. Just how loud the atmosphere, especially from the away support, is just fantastic. So, of course, obviously, finals is not far around the corner. So, I don't think like I said a couple of weeks ago, that. After last night's game, we can have a stretch where we could play 5 games straight at Allianz till the grand final. Obviously a lot of football to be played, and I've said that, like I sound like a broken record every time I come on here, speaking about the fact there's still plenty of time, plenty of football left. So, but at the same time, if all goes to plan, we win our remaining 3 fixtures. We finish top of the ladder, inside the top 2, meaning we get 2 home finals. We win the qualifying final. We get a prelim at home. So all that, obviously, we've got back-to-back home games coming up. I mean, technically, if you want to be the technical department, we've got 3. Yes, it's a South home game, but it's at our home at Allianz. So we've got 3 home games coming up to finish the year at Allianz. And then at this stage, if we win those games, we've got a home qualifying final, and we win that game, we've got a home prelim. Then we win obviously, the grand final. So we could have a stretch of 5 games in a 6-week period at Allianz into a grand final. So that'd be tremendous. So obviously, take a game at a time. Like I said last night, celebrate the fact that we are top of the ladder, and obviously enjoy it, but knowing that there's still a lot of work to be done, and the job isn't far from over. But yeah, definitely enjoy it. It feels good with the defensive. We just have to keep it up. I reckon we can get better every week if we just still do the same. Yeah. I think that was the most pleasing part about last night's performance was our defense. And I feel like our defense has been really under the radar. Like it's flown under the radar. I think our defense this year has been the unsung hero, because not a lot of people have been talking about our defense. It's crazy. I think we went into this game last night with the 3rd best defense in the league going into this game, and it's the ultimate cliche that defense wins premierships. And we saw our defensive masterclass last night against the Panthers. We had 48 tackles defending our line. Like, the Panthers had 48 tackles in the opposing 20, and they only came up with 1 try. And the 1 try that they did score was a pretty good try. I think, out of all the tries that we've conceded this year, the try that we conceded on last night, sometimes you've got to go, there's not much we could have done about that. Like, it was a good run from Lindsay Smith, great offload, not much we could have done about it. But I think you can always, never nice to concede tries. But the one that we did concede last night, I think, we can take on and go, yeah, fair play for sure. I'm just double checking what we've got. We got the third best defense in the league. Obviously a little bit of a gap between obviously the Panthers and the Warriors. The Panthers, they've conceded 313. The Warriors have conceded 324. We're third with 400. But to have the 3rd best defense in the league, and time again we say it, the best defensive teams win the comp. And I think what I have said for the last couple of weeks, we've been sort of flying under the radar, trying to, obviously there's been a lot of talk around the Roosters. Where are we the real deal? Can we win the premiership and all that? Can we get past Penrith? Can we get past Melbourne? And all the questions have been answered so far in the last 8-week stretch. We've beaten Melbourne, we've beaten Penrith. So, and we're in a great spot to be in right now. So obviously enjoy it 100%. Like, there was just a buzz around Roosters fans. Obviously every Roosters fan on social media today has been buzzing, and rightfully so, because it was a fantastic victory, and a victory that we've been waiting for to beat Penrith. And again, this is the game that we had circled and go, this is the game that we're going to stamp our authority and go, we are the real deal. And it's great to see that it came to fruition, and I think everyone's starting to get on board that the Roosters are the real deal. And obviously that's part of our question tonight. Are the Roosters now the new premiership favourites? Now, obviously we are the top of the ladder, but I mean, obviously the top of the ladder means you don't win the premiership, right? There's still, a lot of factors, to get, obviously a lot of time left between now until the grand final, right? So, still a lot of work to be done, a lot of improvement still in us, but you can tell that we are peaking at the right time. You've seen that the last couple of weeks we've sort of just, scraped by, I guess. Obviously apart from that Cowboys, shellacking in Townsville, the other weeks that were sort of won in different ways, and I think that's helped us. But again, another example where, we go up against the Premiership heavyweight in the Panthers, and, it was a cracking game of footy last night, and the way that we've come out of it, and in a good old fashioned arm wrestle, when we went toe to toe with the comp's best, and we came out on top. Massive confidence booster, but again, let me reiterate that there's still a lot of work to be done for us going forward. Just hope to make not too many mistakes. I mean, yeah, we didn't play. Well, obviously 13 errors last night. I mean, it's okay, but like we did, we got the fun. We played the fundamentals much better than the Panthers, and that's very, I mean, unlike us at all. Penrith completed at a high rate. They give you nothing, but they made more errors. But again, we were just so spiritual in defense. I think, obviously, like I said during the week as well, that this is no better time to beat the Panthers. They had no Zay Yo, they had no Mitch Kenny. Obviously, Dylan Edwards was in and out this week, but obviously he played. So there was no better time to beat them. But do note that if we do cross paths with Penrith again, note that they are going to be a better side. And so will we. That's another thing we can also take out of that as well. Yes, the Panthers were missing Yo. They were missing Mitch Kenny. When Yo returns, if he returns, but most likely he's going to return some point in the finals, and we do cross paths again, which is very, very likely, note that Penrith are going to be a much difficult side to beat. But at the same time, we are also going to be a tough, difficult side to beat when we have Tedesco, Tupou, and Crichton back. So, yeah, it was a great victory. And it's just obviously the confidence and the belief within ourselves and within the playing group and the squad and the fan base to say we can beat Penrith, we can beat anyone. So, exciting times ahead. I'm upset with Cherry is leaving now. Yes, obviously that is the main talking point from coming on tonight, is that DCE's future has been officially announced. That he is, obviously it was rumored during the week, but DCE has officially signed with Hull FC in the Super League for next season. Obviously, unfortunately, sad to see him leave, because he's had a tremendous season for us. He's hang on. Hey, the doggies. No, held up. No, held up. Great tackle. Never mind. I thought that was a try to the Dogs then. Obviously, guys, I've got Souths and the Bulldogs game behind us there, so we're watching that. So Souths hate watch, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, obviously DC, he's had a tremendous year for us. He's been such a great signing, and when we first come on to the Sydney Roosters Diehards, when we started doing daily content here on YouTube and all that, obviously I had my thoughts on the DCE signing. I wasn't the biggest fan of it straight away. I had pros and cons. You guys know this. I had a lot of pros and cons around DCE signing. I was more concerned about, potentially the risk of losing Hugo Savala. And am I guilty of reading into the media? Yes, because obviously the headlines were Hugo was going to go to the open market and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, why are we going for DCE when we're going to lose a local junior in Hugo Savala? But obviously those fears, I didn't have to fear him, because obviously Hugo re-signed. But, and I did say in November, if, when DC signature was announced, I said, if we are in a great position midway through the season and the DC Sam Walker combo works, I'll officially put my hand up and say I got it wrong. And here I am saying I got it wrong. So, but DCE has been a tremendous signing for us, and you can see in time and time again why we've signed DCE in these big games and these big moments in the last month or so, is that this is why we got the services of Daly Cherry-Evans to come up with the massive plays and just the way that he steers his side around the park. And not to mention as well, he's been the captain for the last couple of weeks as well, because obviously, Tedesco has been out with injury. So DC's been a captain for most of the year. As well, not to mention as well, like, if you look at our season in proper, like, at times you've had Tedesco, you've had Sam Walker, you had Reece Robson, and so they're your three spine members, all unavailable during the Origin period, right? So it has been a challenging period through the Origin period. Obviously DC's been played a major part of that, and his leadership and his experience, he's the second most capped player of all time behind Cameron Smith, and that 373 games of experience has been on full display for the number of weeks now, and you can start to see the balance between Sam Walker and DCE. And obviously, I think we've seen the potential of what he has played and how he's played and how the style works between them two. Obviously, as you expect, a new halves combination, it's obviously going to take time. And obviously, after the first couple of games of the year, there were some concerns. But as I predicted, and everyone and pretty much everyone else predicted, that the Roosters were starting to get in the gear. They're starting to figure out the combinations, the style of football we wanted to play, and now we're seeing the rewards and seeing why we've gone after and signed Daly Cherry-Evans. So he's had a fantastic year. The signing of the year, obviously, that's hard to tell yet. Obviously, there's still a lot of football to be played, but there's been a couple of times this year where we've walked in and out of these games like if we didn't have DCE there, do we win those games? So, but he has come up trumps in so many occasions for us, and last night was no different. So, and obviously, what a way to go out. Obviously, we said it in a few times during the week, if hopefully, the script is in the writing right, is if obviously DCE in his first year at first grade at Manly in 2011 won a premiership. Could you imagine the way he goes out in the NRL, wins a premiership at the Roosters in his last season? That'd be a great way to go out. So, obviously, there's still plenty left in the career of Daly Cherry-Evans in both the Roosters colours and in the NRL. There's still 3 weeks out from finals. Have I gone whole KR? Oh, you are joking. Oh, bro. Are you kidding? So, oh, no. Oh, what an absolute... What the hell? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can't even change it. Hang on. I'll fix that later. Oh. Apologies. Are you kidding me? Thanks for clipping letting me know, because I thought I said FC. I mean, I know the difference between Hull KR and Hull FC, right? Far out. My good mate John in the UK would be fuming if he sees that, because he's a Hull FC fan, and obviously Hull KR, Hull FC, a big rivalry over there. Obviously, of course. Oi, Rimmer boy, good fucking hell, good scramble from South again. Piss off. We're riding the Bulldogs. We are riding the Bulldogs tonight. Reason why, obviously, there's no reason, because fuck Souths. But obviously, there's a little bit of obviously you probably say there's a 3-horse race for that last spot in the 8 between South, Bulldogs, and the Cowboys. I think the Souths are 7th and the Bulldogs are 9th. So you probably feel that the Bulldogs have to win this game tonight, as they're probably done for the year. But it's basically the script is in itself. Round 27 against Souths could be the round where the Roosters are playing for the minor premiership while Souths is playing for their spot in finals. And what a way, especially when we are going to be defending our territory, our Allianz Stadium. It's a Souths home game, but it'd be so satisfying in round 27 that we beat Souths, our arch rival, to win the minor premiership and kick Souths out of the finals. That'd be the end goal, right? Like, could you imagine if the Roosters go and win the minor premiership in round 27 while eliminating Souths from finals contention in their last? It'd be the icing on the cake for sure. And then we go on to win the comp. That'd be even more better. Be more sweeter. But yeah, obviously, congrats to DCE. Tremendous career. And I think where do you judge DCE's time at the Roosters? It'll all depend on how far we go this year. But if we go to a premiership, it has been a masterstroke. So, but obviously still a lot of time left, but a lot of things can happen. But for the time being, he has been a tremendous signing, and you can see the direction that we're going for. And obviously, I think I saw a stat today. It's the first time that the Roosters have been outright first on the ladder since round 2, 2021. So it's been 5 years since we have been on top of the ladder outright after a round of footy. Obviously, we started the round because obviously we were the first game. But obviously we can't be caught this weekend. So we are going to finish the round in top of the ladder. How confident is that your boy Flaxy said the minor premiership doesn't matter after Penrith lose? Look, I mean, basically, Flaxy, I love Flaxy, but like Flaxy's just trying to sugarcoat the fact that that he's trying to handle the fact that they lost. I do have to agree in a sense where the minor premiership, doesn't mean as much as what it should. Like obviously to be a grueling 27 home and away season where you finish on top after 27 rounds, it is a tremendous, it should be I mean, we're not saying that we're there yet. I mean, we are first with 3 games to go, but like, it's a tremendous achievement, but like, it feels like it's just so underwhelming. You only get you get like $100,000 and a trophy where it was the old Premiership trophy. I mean, obviously the JJ Gilton Shield is obviously part of rugby league history, of course, but like, I still think as well, but like, you only get $100,000 prize money for winning the minor premiership. But I guess at the same time, for me, like it'd be nice to, go and finish the regular season minor premiers, being the best team in the home and away season, and then obviously finals is a whole different ball game. But I think for me, like I said, after the Warriors beating the Panthers last week when we went to equal first, I said one of the things that I like the realistic target for me is that we finish top 2. Top 2, we get 2 home finals, week 1 and potentially week 3 of the finals. So if we come first, we come second, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it'd be nice now that we're there. It'd be nice to see us get to top of the ladder after the home and away season, and claim a little bit of silverware. But obviously, knowing that the end goal, you don't win the premiership because you won the minor premiership. There's still, we saw last year Canberra won the minor premiership and went out in straight sets. So a lot can happen, and we've seen it before. Teams can go out in straight sets after winning the minor premiership. So it's not like you're guaranteed to be there on grand final day because you're the best team in the home and away season. We all know that it's a whole different ball game when it gets to finals. So, but yeah, but what I will do say though is that I just clearly remember in rounds 3, 4, and 5, the Panthers were unstoppable. They put 40 past us. They put 50 past Melbourne. They put like who else? I think they put a big score on Parramatta, and everyone was asking the question, "Who beats this side?" It's like just give them the title. Give them the title. And then I said it after they lost to the Bulldogs. I said it clear as day. You can go back the tapes and watch it and keep your receipts. I said it as like, you're getting too carried away. To say that a team has won a premiership in April is just ridiculous. And now look at it. From everyone has gone out and said, oh, Penrith can't be beat. Who beats this side? The Panthers are just given the premiership. Like, look at it now. The Roosters are now on top of the ladder. Penrith are now second. So, which proves my point, and I'm still going to double down on it because by no means that we have guaranteed to win the title. We're in a good position and we've improved our chances without a doubt the last few weeks. But just again, I'm going to keep reminding everyone, guys, is that there's still plenty of football to be played. Let's not get too carried away from ourselves. Let's not think about 3 weeks or 4 weeks time. Obviously, sit back and enjoy the rest of the round. That's obviously the benefit of playing on a Thursday night when you get the job done as well. So it's a much better weekend, more relaxed weekend now that the Roosters are obviously they've played their game. We won. We're now top of the ladder. We can sit back and enjoy the rest of the round. But obviously next Sunday we take on the Tigers at Allianz, and it's going to be a fucking tremendous occasion. I think as well, Sunday afternoon, 4:00, And I think every Roosters fan will be buzzing after last night's win, and I think they'll be flocking to Allianz next Sunday afternoon. I think as well, like I think we might see the return of the September fans. I think they're going to start coming out of the wilderness on Sunday. So but yeah, but again, game at a time. Obviously, enjoy the weekend, and then our focus will shift to the Tigers next Sunday at Allianz. Blake Moses says, "Is 2018 the last time we won the minor premiership?" Yep, 2018 was the last time the Roosters won the minor premiership. Yeah, it's I think that's something that we'd like to achieve now. But again, we all know what the biggest, what our end goal is. Excuse me. But also know that we've still, winning the minor premiership doesn't mean that you win the title. So 22 minutes gone, 0-0. I tell you what, obviously Manly lost today, so they're out of contention. So now you probably say it's a 3-horse race. But obviously 0-0 at the 22 between the Dogs and the Rabbitohs. Right, let's get some questions in and what you guys are saying after last night's win. So we start off with Carol, fantastic. Uso chats, Ref and Bunker almost F the game. That bullshit no try for the Roosters was that it? Was disgraceful. Yeah, like obviously, 24 hours on from that, and it's still a little bit of a headline. Again, for me, like I've moved on because we won the game. Obviously it's a big talking point. It was a disgraceful call. Like I think the problem is, like I mentioned last night, is that yes, it's the correct call in the sense where he was disrupted. Like I guess in the letter of the law. But at the same time, the only reason why it's pulled up is because Marky Mark had an air swing. Now, from what I've heard, is that if Marky Mark got contact with the ball, he doesn't. You don't obviously get penalised for it. South Sydney have scored. Oh shit. One job, Bulldogs. One job. That's all I'm saying. You had one job tonight. And you're fucking it up. South lead 4-0. But yes, so because Marky Mark had an air swing, didn't intentionally air swing, didn't intentionally try to impede it or anything like that. He literally was attempting to grab the ball. And the reason why he went up with two hands, or with one arm, or with one hand, is because he was impeded in the lead up. Tungo escorted him. That's the reason why we got the ball in the first place. So, but again, like obviously the disruptor rule was a rule in the preseason and round one and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest issue that us fans have had with the disruptor call last night is that the rule basically disappeared for 20 weeks, and yet for some reason it magically reappears in the biggest game of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so... It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. Again, if it was the rule consistently from round one onwards, I think there's no real backlash or protests or confusion, I guess, if that's what I'm trying to say, is because literally because it was obviously the rule from the season pretty much, and the fact that it sort of disappeared makes no sense to me. But yeah, anyway, we got there. We won, so it didn't obviously impact the result, of course, so it's always in well. G'day, Dave. How are you, bro? I think the rest were trying to keep the Panthers in the game. You could say that, but it doesn't matter. They lost. Cooper says, amazing. Doug says, a gritty victory played with heart and the passion required to win the comp. 100%. Obviously, it is the return of the Bondi Wall. it was a return of the Bondi War last night. So again, it just gave you those 2013, 18, 19 vibes where our defense was on full display, and it was it was a tough night for the Panthers to crack our defense. Penrith is a better name for him. Oh yeah, Penrith. They couldn't get over the line. Sam says really good defense even without Teddy now. They keep winning. Yep. Well, obviously, I think Teddy should be back next week. Marky mentality clocked out thoughts. I don't think so. I thought Marky Mark had a solid game. Obviously, again, it was more how good the defense was from both teams. Penrith's defense was great. Our defense was great. Could have been a little bit better in attack. I could say so. We might have left a few more points out there, but thought defensively come up with some huge plays. Marky Mark, he was good under the high ball all night. Ran for the most meters. I think up there with the most meters. So I thought he had a really solid night. I mean, it's not all about scoring 3 tries a game, saying you have a blinder. So I thought it was a solid game. Nicholas says, Sam Walker is a gun. Cody's stepping up where it counts. The boys came out to play. Oh, 100% they did. 100% they did. Oh, knock on Souths. Come on, switch on, Bulldogs. And then they did last week in the second half. But yeah, everyone just stepped up and played well tonight. Still a lot of improvement in our attack, especially in the opposition 20. Yeah, I think that was something that we can obviously, if you want to narrow pick something last night, I thought, attack was okay, but wasn't at its best. Obviously that's standard without Tedesco, but obviously there's still oh, great tackle. Seeing something what happened there in the game. Yeah, again, and it was all the other areas that we got right. So, but yeah, I still think it was a all around good performance. But yeah, definitely we can felt like that we left a lot of points out there, but we did well growing out that win. Klein itching to get gang bang and moving on. If Walker wants over $1 million per season, he needs to ice those goal kicks in the big moments. Yeah, I agree. I thought Sam Walker had a good game last night. Kicking game was superb. I thought defensively it was superb. He had an all-round good performance. In saying that, though, yeah, you're right. Obviously, when DCE scored his second try, we led 12-6. It was obviously with 90 seconds to go, so it was a real opportunity there just to ice the game here and there, go 14-6 up, and then. But unfortunately, he did miss the conversion. I mean, hit the post. Granted, it wasn't his fault. Didn't try to. Unfortunately, he just hit the post. But you're right. It has to come to the point where, especially like we saw in Origin. And in Townsville, we know that he has a good percentage when he's on. And I thought he was on last night. Obviously, goal kicking, he only had really one tough assignment and hit the post. So I think that's obviously comes down to the crunch time in big games, especially in, in the big games later and down the track. It could be a grand final, it could be 12 or it could be 12-10. He has to nail those. And I think, granted, he did last week against the Dogs. I know his goal kicking was all over the place last week, but, when we were chasing points, we were down 18-8. We scored through Billy Smith out wide in the touchline. It was 18-12. It was very vital that he kicked that conversion from the sideline, which he did. So we know he can do it. So, but you're right. Obviously it was a great missed opportunity to sort of ice the game there, but unfortunately he missed. It kept the door open for Penrith and they almost took it. So, but that's something that needs to be, I guess, addressed on is definitely the goal kicking, because we can't afford to be only going up by 4, especially if it's tight, narrow affair, because a goal kick can all be the difference from the team either making a grand final or season over by literally, it's a fine margin in finals. Souths have scored again. Fuck off. Would you rest Teddy next week? I don't think so. If he's had 2 weeks out from an injury, I think you want to get him back for finals. So, but I mean, obviously against the Tigers, I mean, another opportunity just to put him on ice and get him 100% right. So I don't mind it, but I feel like that Teddy wants to get back out there. I think especially you don't really want to go into finals coming off an injury where you're a little bit underdone. So I mean, maybe the more games he plays for finals, the better. Hopefully the same with Gus and Toops. So. I have a question that I forgot to ask on Instagram. Do we extend Rambo beyond next year, even with Rex on the come up? I think the reports are saying that Rambo is going to extend beyond next year. I think that's obviously nothing concrete yet. It's only a bit of a rumor at the moment. So, but looks like that potentially Rambo will continue on. He's happy at the club. Obviously he's trying to repay back. Obviously the opportunity that the Roosters have gave him. Obviously coming off a really bad injury layoff. So, but yeah, it's good to see out there playing consistent footy and showing how good he can be. He's been a handy pickup for us for sure. DC didn't get the memo that Walker and Cleary wanted salary increases. Now, I think obviously he's done everything he wanted to achieve in rugby league, so he's content with obviously with the 1 year at the end with the Roosters. He's still going to come back to a coaching role at the Roosters in 28. So it looks like in 27 he'll obviously play that 1 year in Hull FC, then move over to play in as well in the Super League next year, and then back in 28 as a coaching role. Are these streams only on YouTube? Spotify as well, mate. Link down below if you want to check it out on Spotify. P Webb says moments an 8-point buffer would have stopped all that panic in the last couple of minutes. Yeah, agreed. And we were just you've said the same thing. You've said the same thing. Yeah, correct. That 90 seconds was a little frantic for us. Again, we scrambled well and we defended the lead and we won, but it could have been easily avoided. Could have been more comfortable with 8 points with 90 seconds to go than 6. That's for sure. Golden Point Sports says time to book the grand final tickets. We're getting close, aren't we? We're getting close to getting them. And Chris says excellent. So fantastic. Last thing I wanted to touch on, which I saw earlier today. So apparently the Roosters have made a complaint to the NRL around Josh Mansour last night. So a bit of context behind it. Josh Mansour was one of the ground announcers for the Panthers last night. And it's been reported that through Code NRL, Code Sports, that Mansour was the Roosters have accused winger turn announcer of coaching Panthers from the sidelines. Obviously, Josh Mansour had his say on it. I actually thought it was comical when they asked me to stop. It's not like I was sitting here with some big tip sheets of info about the Roosters players. I was calling out stuff like any fan would. They thought I was giving them an edge. I mean, it's not your job to give advice. You're the fucking ground announcer. You know what I'm saying? You're the ground announcer. You're not supposed to, obviously you're there to engage the crowd and not talk to the players. It's simple as that. So do I agree with the Roosters complaining about it? I don't think so. I think that's pretty, I think it's very soft, I guess. I mean, like if we, at the same time, we went out and had our 2 cents on Nick Pappas complaining about the scoreboard, and yet here we are sort of having a little, asking a question around a ground announcer, trying to be a fan or coach, whatever you want to say. But, yeah. But at the same time, like, that's the thing, especially if you're walking up and down the sideline talking and, trying to give advice and all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously it's different when a fan does it, but like you're a former player, you're the ground announcer, obviously support, you're the, obviously as an ex-Panther, you're going to, like obviously, you look at, all the other ground announcers in the NRL, like, Glenn Hawk's a Knights fan. Alex Glenn does the Broncos, he, obviously he gets behind the players and all that, but like, I think it's very, not much into it, but at the same time, like, they go out and, just stick to your lane. You're the ground announcer. Why are you talking to the players? You know what I'm saying? Like, just go out there and, obviously get the crowd involved. Do let's go Penrith chants and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there should be no point talking to the players during a game. Like, obviously, he's not, like, putting off the players or anything kind of stuff. He's obviously more of encouragement, but I thought the Roosters might see it otherwise. But I don't think there's too much to it, to be honest with you. I miss Robson linking up with Teddy. They were dangerous early in the season. Yeah, and obviously, we'll get Teddy back sooner than later. So, obviously, the other news is around today as well that is that, of course, Billy Slater has stepped down from the Queensland coaching role. So, obviously, that's up for grabs next season. It'll be very interesting on who Queensland go for now for the next Queensland coach. Who's like a Nate Miles, JT, maybe. But obviously, Haynesy now at the Titans. So it'll be very, very interesting on who Morning Coast Sport, the club complained that Mansour was giving advice to Panthers winger Jenkins and Toto from the sidelines. The publication reported that while the NRL spoke to Mansour, they were satisfied he was offering support to the players instead of actually coaching them. Only trainers are allowed to communicate coaching messages with players during stoppages in play under the NRL rules. Mansour said to stop talking to Toto and Jenkins after he's spoken to and cleared the air with the interview Coach Sport after the game. It was no big deal, blah, blah, blah. Like any fan would. The reason the Roosters may have pipped up when they did was because their side started to look like they were on the ropes. They thought I was giving them an edge. Mate, we're never on the ropes, mate. We fucking contained you all night with the Bondi War, so you didn't do your job hard enough, obviously. Especially as the ground announcer, the fact that you got out-chanted by away fans, the Roosters fans, which for some unknown reason still, that we still get classed as a team with no fans, a club with no fans, and yet, you're getting out-chanted by the club with no fans, and yet you all have to come to the point that you're starting a PA chant to obviously put your point across to show your support and but like, I guess it's all stupid. I don't know why this is blown out of proportion at all, but I'll leave it at that. This is not me. This is not me having a crack at Josh Mansour at all. Mansour's a really good guy, good content creator too, with his podcast and all that kind of stuff. So, I just think I think this is all pretty stupid in my opinion. Like, I don't think but at the same time, like to avoid any more problems, it's like at the same time just stick to your job, being the ground announcer, I guess. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Last thing, sorry, Victor Radley got a grade 1 high tackle charge, so $3,000 fine. He's free to play next week. So I'll leave it with that. I'll leave it at that. Right, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in tonight's special news roundup. Obviously, we'll have the night off tomorrow, but we'll be back on. Oh, sorry, I forgot all about this. Obviously, today the Roosters New South Wales Cup took on the Panthers out there in Penrith, and the Roosters got the job done over the Panthers, which is the first time, I think, the first time in 8 games that the Roosters New South Wales Cup side have beaten the Panthers. So a great result for the Roosters New South Wales Cup side. Tries in the second half to Toby Rodwell, Reece Foley, Taylor Lasalu, and I think that was it. So a great performance by the Roosters New South Wales Cup side, keeps their finals hopes alive. Obviously, early in the round for the New South Wales Cup, they are sitting in 5th, which is the finals. Obviously, top 5 goes to finals. They are level with 4th place Newtown and 6th place Warriors. Obviously, both Newtown and the Warriors played this week. So the Roosters got one more game next week against the Magpies before their final bye. So they've got one more game to go. And then after that, they need a result to go their way or improve their fought against over the Newtown Jets. So, but a very great performance against the top of the table Panthers. So a very good weekend so far from the Roosters, 2 from 2 in all grades against the Panthers. And right now the Roosters are playing Jersey Flegg. It's 18 all between the Roosters and the Panthers in Jersey Flegg. So Obviously, we'll have a full wrap up for you guys on the weekend wrap up on Sunday night. So I look forward to see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, give us a follow on the Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Let's hope the Dogs can turn this around, and we know better seeing South miss the 8. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on Sunday night. Till then, bye for now, and up the Chookies. See ya.